Warning, this podcast contains themes of extreme violence and murder. Subject matter may be offensive to some listeners. Discretion advised.
Welcome to another episode of Evil Transgression, your homicide headquarters here in podcasting. I'm Josh, and with me as always, Dustin and Rex.
What's going on?
Hey, what's up?
Little pausage.
You sounded like a game show host when you started.
Welcome to another episode.
Sounds like our very
It's like episode number 1 all over.
Welcome. It's been a rough week.
How's it?
It has.
Why?
Well, all the leaves have fallen in the yard, and I don't feel like picking them up.
That's what kids are for.
Yeah.
It's true.
Just don't do what I did a couple years ago. I was like, I'm going to put these leaves in a pile so my kids can jump in them. And then I was like, I'm just going to leave this pile all year.
And then I'm going to have dead grass.
Oh, I finally got the leaves up and put them at the curb.
Probably smelled, too.
And it didn't smell,
Really?
but it was all dirt.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
a huge dirt patch
Mhm.
in the middle of the yard.
You smothered your foliage, your grassage.
I did.
I'll tell you what's bad. Never, if you're going to bag your grass, don't do that where you're bagging it and then you're just like, putting it in a pile somewhere and then forget about it, because that can get pretty bad.
You know what makes grass grow? If you bury people in your yard.
Oh, as they decompose.
It's good. It's good for the
good
for
fertilizer.
the lawn. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's good for the lawn. That's your tip for the day.
Your evil tip.
Yeah. So if you got that bald patch in your yard, just go out and murder a neighbor.
Let's go catch a body.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Throw him in your yard. Grass. Why is it you have to cut that spot 3 times a week now? The rest of the grass doesn't grow.
Oh, man.
Well, it looks like I'm just going to have to catch a couple more bodies.
Just space them out evenly.
Yeah. Just imagine if John Wayne Gacy, instead of burying him in his crawl space, buried him in his yard. He'd had the best looking yard in the neighborhood.
And that's true. Yeah.
It would have been more suspect.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But he still would have had a nice yard.
True.
So, we have a controversial case again today.
Ooh, 2 weeks in a whoa.
2 weeks in a whoa.
Yeah.
But before we do that, let's do some evil facts.
Okay.
The BTK killer. You guys know who the BTK killer is, I assume?
Yes.
Installed alarms at several people's houses because of their fear of the BTK killer.
Wow.
Who's drumming up his own business.
Hey.
Wow.
It was during that time that was like, hey, there's a crazy killer out there. He's like, I know, you should buy this alarm package.
That's crazy.
Getting all kinds of perks. He got his, what is it called? Commission. He's killing it on commission. Literally. The FBI estimates anywhere between 150 to 2,000 active serial killers in the United States.
That's a lot.
That's a huge gap, though, too, if you think about it.
Right.
Between 150 to 2,000.
Yeah.
The fact that there's any is kind of creepy because you could literally be, sitting at the Denny's having breakfast and look over and there might be the next,
Oh, I mean, that naked dude that lives behind you could be one,
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
That's why he was naked throwing his trash away. Because he was throwing his murder clothes in the trash.
Hey, Christmas is coming up. You think he's going to be doing jingle balls again?
I hope not. He brings me cookies every year.
Oh,
I'm like, shit.
they go straight in the trash. Ted Bundy helped in the investigation of the Green River killer and made a psych profile which ended up being closer to the actual Green River killer than the FBI's own psych profile.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive.
They should have kept him alive and gave him a job.
No doubt.
Not a dude you want to keep alive. He had a tendency to escape.
That's true.
They also had a tendency to not watch him very well, so he could escape.
You know, he was actually terrified to die.
That's
like terrified.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
He tried to prolong his death sentence forever.
Hey, I tell you what, the FBI needs somebody like Reddington. Have you watched The Blacklist?
Yeah.
No.
Reddington is a badass.
A criminal that works for the FBI.
For the FBI, yeah. Yep.
Actually, the FBI had a badass working for him, but he quit.
Who?
Corky Romano.
Oh, yeah?
Remember that?
Corky Romano. Do you guys know who Ed Kemper is?
Yes.
I believe we all know who the giant Ed Kemper is.
Yes.
Edmund Kemper recorded hundreds of audiobooks from behind bars, including Star Wars.
Wow.
So you can buy a Star Wars copy of him reading to you?
Yeah.
That would be great.
We need to find that and put it in our archives.
I'm giving somebody that for Christmas this year.
Maybe it's on iTunes.
Star Wars, as read by Edmund Kemper. A man that murdered several people. And that is your evil facts.
I like
the
them.
day.
They were pretty good today.
Some interesting. I mean, it's not like eating a Jeffrey Dahmer sandwich,
Right.
True.
but some good ones. But I mean, I got some more Dahmers that we'll get to eventually, but Dahmer was a very, very strange man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I still haven't got over the fact that he was bathing over a dead body in his bathtub for a month.
Oh, I know, man.
Just like a decomposing body underneath you while you're showering. Like, just gonna wash my sack up. What's that smell? Ugh. Gross.
Yeah, it is.
So, you guys ready to just dive on into the case here today?
Sure.
Do it.
Let's do it. Let's discuss this gentleman. So, buckle up, evil mob. And we're going to discuss James Lee Clark. James Lee Clark was born in Caddo Parish, Louisiana on May 13th, 1968. When James' father found out his mother was pregnant, he disappeared. He's
You
like,
just dip.
I'm out. Oh, you pregnant? Oh, good girl. See, I gotta go get some milk. So James had a rough childhood growing up without a father figure. How rough, you say? He started drinking at age 7 and was a full-blown alcoholic by the age of 13.
That is insane.
Ain't nothing like tipping the bottle at 7. Like at 7, I'm watching cartoons.
Right, yeah.
Capri Suns.
Yeah,
Yep.
drinking Capri Suns. And you always get the air in it. Like, you blow the air in it and it shoots the juice out. School was also not for James. He failed 2 grades and ended up dropping out in the 9th grade. Shortly after dropping out, he was forced to go to the Gainesville State School, which was a reformatory school for at-risk youth. James's mother told the teachers at the school that he had no friends because he stole from all of them.
I mean, that'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll do it. Don't hang out with James. He'll steal your shit.
Stole your book bag. James stole your milk money. But that will definitely do it. Like, you don't want to be friends with the dude that steals all your stuff.
Hell no.
You don't.
James would go on to get his GED, but once he was released from the school, he tried to reconnect with his mother, only to find out she wanted nothing to do with him.
Ooh.
She's like, nah, you old enough now, you on your own.
You're 18. You'll steal from me.
Yeah. So now he's got no mom or dad. You're like, you're on your own, kid.
Poor guy.
James had his first brush with the law in 1989 when he was arrested for burglary and sent to state prison. There's no information on how long he was actually incarcerated for this event. In 1991, he was arrested for stealing checks and sent to jail for 20 days.
So this dude loves stealing.
He is a straight-up thief.
Mm-hmm.
In 1992, James was arrested again for burglary and sentenced this time to 10 years in prison.
10
Wow.
years.
Yeah.
It's like a decade.
Yeah, it's a long time.
It's like a whole decade. But he went from a 20-day jail sentence to 10 years. While in prison, James met James Richard Brown. Old James Brown.
James Brown. Not the James
Not
Brown.
the James Brown.
that listens to our show.
No.
I don't think.
It may be.
I don't think it might be. You'll find out why, but it might be. It might be the same one.
And it's definitely not the James Brown that is feeling good.
No.
Right.
He's not feeling too good right now.
After just 10 months into his sentence, James was released due to overcrowding. That's
You read that
never a
right.
good thing.
10 months into a 10-year sentence.
They're like, we're
How
a
does
little
that
crowded in here.
happen?
Get out.
Let him go.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
His buddy James Brown was also released on the same day.
Interesting.
Imagine that. The two Jameses.
Mm-hmm.
The two James.
Once they were out, James and James Brown, we will refer to him as Brown from now on. So, James and Brown. James and Brown. It sounds like a law firm. So once they're out, James and Brown began hanging out together and would drive around stealing from people's cars and robbing them. They're living it up. They're like, hey, we got 10 months out of a 10-year prison stint, and we're not going back because it's crowded there. During one of their robberies, the pair scored a shotgun and a rifle. That's not good.
No.
In the early morning hours on June 7th, 1993, James and James Brown were looking for someone to rob when they came across Catherine Cruz and Jesus Garza at Clear Creek near Denton, Texas. They do travel around.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they're traveling. They're traveling robbers.
Traveling
Nice.
banditos.
Banditos.
Jesus Garza was shot at point blank range with a shotgun just below his chin. That will not do your neck well.
No.
No.
Catherine Cruz was bound with her own bra and was raped,
Wow.
and was also shot at point blank range in the back of the head. Their bodies were found later that morning in the creek. That afternoon, Brown showed up at a police station with a shotgun wound to the leg. Somebody's not a good shot.
Nope.
When police questioned the two about what happened, they said they were fishing at Three Rivers Bridge when someone tried to rob them. So they're going off of someone tried to rob them when they're the robbers.
Right. They're basically telling the story that they already did,
Yeah.
but somewhere else.
When police went to investigate, they couldn't find any evidence that supported their claims. Both James Clark and James Brown were covered in sand that was consistent with the sand found at Clear Creek. When confronted with the evidence, James Brown broke down and led police to Jesus Garza's body. It was soon found out that the gunshot Brown had received came from when he was shooting either Jesus or Catherine and accidentally shot himself.
Genius.
If he wasn't using a shotgun, he might not have had to go to the doctor.
Still, how do you, if you're shooting someone point blank range, how do you get your leg in there? Like, were you laying on your back with your legs in the air
It
shooting?
must have been.
It's just an odd way to,
It is,
get your
Yeah,
own wound.
for sure.
It's like you were like it might have been how he was standing, like stepped out with one leg out. Wow.
Not very smart. After talking to James Clark, the police couldn't determine which one was lying, so they got a search warrant to look through the trailer the two shared together. Two robbers living in a trailer. Living the dream.
It's the white trash American dream.
It is. Once inside the trailer, the police found the stock to a sawed-off shotgun, and after further testing, it was linked to the shotgun that was found in the creek next to the bodies.
Uh-oh.
The police also found ammunition that the pair had bought just days prior to the murders.
All signs are pointing to them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Guilty. DNA was taken from Catherine's body and was found to be James Clark's, which told them that James was the only one that had raped Catherine. James Clark and James Brown were both arrested at the trailer they shared together. On April 29th, 1994, a jury found James Clark guilty of robbery, rape, and the murder of Catherine Cruz.
Good.
On May 3rd, 1994, Judge Sam Houston sentenced James Clark to death.
Nice.
It's a cool name for a judge.
Sam Houston.
Oh,
like
Judge
it.
Sam Houston.
And he's in Texas.
It's perfect.
Ooh. Sam Houston from Houston, Texas. I just picture him with one of them big-ass cowboy hats on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sitting there smoking a cigar behind the... behind his whatever you call it. His
That's hammer.
podium.
Yeah.
Podium.
His hammer. Judge has got a... He don't even have a... what's the technical term for it?
Man, I'm drawing a blank.
He's got a hammer.
Gavelin.
It's Gavelin. Gavelin?
I don't know. Isn't that something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
He's got a Stanley hammer like... Next, Brown went on trial. Mr. James Brown went on trial for his role in the murders and was only convicted of the robberies. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison. That does not seem fair.
No, and that also is why I said that might be our James Brown that listens to us.
He would be out.
He would be out by now, so he might have been. He's about to hear the story like, mother.
These dudes don't...
They found me. They found me.
James appealed his sentence many times throughout the years. In 2002, the landmark Supreme Court decision Atkins versus Virginia, which outlawed the execution of people deemed mentally retarded, James said his sentence should be commuted to life in prison. I'm still stuck on the fact that he's getting life, or he's getting a death penalty.
Yeah.
And this other dude got 20 years.
Because they're saying he wasn't the one that shot him. Even though he was the one that was shot in the leg.
But aren't you... Am I wrong that, like, I don't know, maybe the laws have changed over the years, but if you are involved in a felony, if you are committing a felony,
Yeah.
and at the same time someone loses their life, it's automatically deemed like murder. Like,
You could be charged with capital murder.
yeah.
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 That's what I thought.
So maybe the laws have changed since then, because this dude should not have gotten 20 years.
No, and it was worse back then what it is now. You know, if you go back and look at the 80s, a lot of these guys were put to death.
Yeah.
But
You know,
you're also
sentenced to death.
you're also looking at the fact that he was the one that pulled the trigger. He's the one with the gunshot wound,
Right,
correct?
right.
So
But
why is
they
he
didn't
only
see it
charged
that
with
way.
robbery?
They didn't see it that way.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's the way I see it. Well, James Brown got off lucky. So although the Supreme Court did not give the exact definition of mental retardation, they said the states should use the definition given by the American Association on Mental Retardation, which is an IQ less than 70. Now comes the controversy. However, the Texas Court of Appeals ruled that James did not meet any of the criteria for mental retardation. An execution date was set for November 21st, 2002. However, on November 18th, he was granted a stay so he could be examined pursuant with the Atkins ruling. In April of 2003, James was examined again and was found to have an IQ of 65.
Wow.
That puts you below 70.
Which means you can't be executed.
After the examination, the DA rejected the findings and fired the doctor who examined James.
Oh, wow. Oh, man.
He was once again given an evaluation, and this time he was said to have an IQ of 68.
They fire him too?
But the doctor said that he was faking.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So both of those evaluations were below the 70.
Right.
But both times they threw him out like, nope, not taking that one.
It's not what they wanted to hear.
No.
Right.
James was given a third examination, but this time he was found to have an IQ of 74. And that time the judge decided to accept those findings.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, it's over 70.
Yeah, they were just looking for somebody to give that score out.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Maybe he learned over the last couple IQ tests. Right?
Might have.
You
No.
take the same test over and over and over. Eventually, you're going to get better grades.
They say that they just took his IQ test from back in the 80s when he was in that reformatory school. That they took that score because that's when he was in his prime.
Oh, okay.
So he had a IQ of 74 back then, which I call bullshit.
Yeah.
James had his new execution date set for April 11th, 2007. And on February 28th, a judge signed the order. This case actually drew international attention, so much that the piano that John Lennon used for Imagine was placed outside the doors of the prison as a protest to too much violence in the world. Imagine all the people.
Good song.
Let's leave it to him to sing.
Governor Rick Perry refused to commute his sentence. We all know Governor Rick Perry.
Yeah.
We do.
James requested no last meal and was walked to the death chamber. When asked if he had any last words, James said, quote, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know. He then seemed to notice the witnesses in the gallery and added, quote, I didn't know anybody was there. He laughed again and said, howdy.
Wow.
He does not seem like he's all there.
No, not at all.
James Lee Clark was executed at 6:17 p.m. in Huntsville on April 11th, 2007. That, folks, is the story of James Lee Clark. Now, my question to you two is, do you think he had a mental disability, or do you think it was all an act to spare him the death penalty?
I think he did.
Think he did have it?
Yeah. So, I mean, he was definitely right there at the border of 70 for sure.
Only thing that throws me off is, I don't know if like James Brown was smarter than him and helped him out with certain things, but it's like he was smart enough to kill them both. And I mean, he didn't do a good job of disposing of the body. He just threw it in a creek.
Yeah.
But he knew what he was doing.
But how smart do you have to be to kill somebody?
I
don't think you have to have a very,
I mean, we're basing it off of an IQ of lower than 70. That's still a functionable person.
right.
You know, it's just somebody with a mental disability. So, to me, I look back over the course of his life, and he struggled in school.
Yeah.
He ended up dropping out in school.
And to me, you know, he started drinking at what, 9 or 7? Yeah, 7. That right there, I would think, would affect brain development.
Yeah.
You know?
An alcoholic at the age of 13.
Yeah, right.
That's, I mean, the opportunity for a mental handicap is there.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
But Again,
I think it's shitty that they used 3 different doctors
Yeah.
to determine it. The 2 said, yeah, he's got something wrong. The 3rd one's like, oh, yeah, he's good to go. Just fire it up.
crank it up. But then you look at him coming into the death chamber and being like, howdy.
Right.
Hey,
Right.
guys.
I didn't know you were there.
Oh, looky there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to say other than howdy.
And no last meal.
I'm just telling you, if I'm going up for execution, I'm going to have one elaborate spread.
Yeah.
I know how you're not. You get what they can make you in the kitchen.
It's not true. I will plead my case.
You're going to order a pizza.
Yeah.
Have
Pizza
it.
Hut.
I want a hot pizza, and it always shows up cold. Like, I'm not eating that.
Have it delivered to Lucasville.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Is that the only one in Ohio? Does Lucasville doesn't do execution?
That's where they execute him at.
Do they?
It's Lucasville, yeah.
Wow.
Now they used to house them there, and now they house them in, I want to say Chillicothe.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
And then they ship them on down to Lucasville to...
Yes.
They don't do anything now because they have a stay on executions.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sissies.
Mhm.
Freaking sissies.
I say you just do away with the pedophiles first. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Swipe them off the board and you're good to go.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot. But
There is a lot of pedophiles.
Unfortunately.
hey, I actually have something to ask you.
Oh, and it involves being
like,
a pedophile.
No, remember like months ago when we was talking about, you were telling us about that dude that disappeared from Athens?
Yeah, he's still missing.
No, they found him.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
Kyle Bridgman?
They found his body.
When?
Yeah, I just seen it on the news.
When?
Also, it just happened.
Yeah, like last week, Friday, Thursday.
Bro, I didn't hear
Wow.
that.
Yeah. Yep. They found him. Yep.
Kyle Bridgman, R.I.P.
Yep.
Found him in a pond or something like that.
See, that's what the rumors were, that he was in a pond somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
And they searched all these ponds and never found him, and that's terrible news.
Yeah, it
That was
is.
really, I mean, I guess he was missing for I think since June or something like that, he was missing.
Yeah.
So you kind of know, it's probably not going to end up
Right.
good. Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he was on some kind of medication as well that he needed to take daily. That his grandma, like he stayed with his grandmother,
Yeah.
and she was the one that helped, keep his medication up and all that stuff. And since June, he wasn't around for his medication, so you kind of knew it probably wasn't going to turn out good. But
Right.
at least they finally have a way to put him to rest.
True.
I want to know if he was murdered or if
Oh, he was murdered 100%.
something, else happened.
Like he just was like, I'm going to jump in this pond.
No. No. I want to know if maybe, this is total speculation. I'm not saying it happened, but you're doing drugs, you OD and your friends
People
take you
panic.
and drop you off.
Well, there's definitely drugs involved in that. I mean, a lot of this is all happening around Nelsonville, Ohio, which is huge right now for drugs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But drugs are definitely involved. But I mean, they know who he went out with that night and all this other stuff. I believe they just arrested 2 people for other crimes that they believe are involved in his disappearance. So
Oh, wow.
hopefully soon they'll get more answers on that. But
Right.
yeah, that's devastating, man. I didn't know that, so I'm glad you brought that to light for me.
Yeah.
Now everyone who looked into the case of Kyle Bridgman knows.
True.
Yep. They found him.
Rough.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you got for me, Rex?
All right, go to our Facebook page, give us a like. Any comments, questions, ideas, you can email us at eviltransgression@gmail.com, which can also be found where, Dustin?
Eviltransgression.com. You can find hats there too.
Is there going to be pictures?
There's going to be pictures. There's also this thing called Patreon. You can join that. You can get
yes.
you can get a full length episode every month. So
A patron only.
Patreon only.
Yep.
So Only you and a select few others get to listen.
And you can also get the random Beyond Evils.
True.
Which is like a behind the scenes.
Which is us basically just talking shit about whatever we want. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
It's all the stuff that happens before we hit the record button.
That's right.
It's good times.
What you got?
I've got, go to eviltransgression.com. Order yourself some Evil Transgression merchandise.
Yeah.
Some shirts. To go with that hat you're going to pre-order. Send us pictures of you wearing your new Evil Transgression gear so you can be featured on the Evil, or the Faces of Evil Mob.
Yeah.
On the website.
Yeah, because we've gotten, some pictures, but we need more.
Yeah. Yeah. People are like, I don't want to see my face up there. We're like, hey, we love it. Show us your face.
Yeah.
We've even got the, what was the puppies. They sent the puppies in. What was the name of them? It was like the Puppy Patrol or like the Puppy Mafia or something.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
Nice.
So, check out eviltransgression.com today. Order yourself some stuff. Send us a little tip in the tip jar. Join Patreon. And keep on keeping on.
Yep.
And we out.
And James Brown, if that is you, we love you. Please come with that being said, until next time.
See ya.
See ya.
Peace.